social skills,
Totally.
how you have your own educational skills.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of time you could spend watching some of these things that people binge watch, you could have got yourself a new qualification. You know, it's like that. And other main thing also is security. When your kid's on the phone, jumping up, going on to different platforms, how do you know who they're talking to?
That's correct. Yes, totally.
You know, I think it's Sweden or Denmark. One of these European countries has said age 13 is the age that you have to be to come on some of their social media platforms. Here it is quite low. I was listening to a lady the other day saying that, well, they're trying to work with the platforms to increase security and the content to make sure it's age appropriate. Well, that's rubbish.
Yeah.
Kids will jump on and know how to circumvent these things.
Well, this is you know what you actually raised a very valid point there, DJ, and that point is this. I mean I joke about it a lot. You know, when I'm talking to a lot of these olds, when they're saying, "Oh yeah, you know, you're only a child. What do you know?" You know, and I say to them, "Well, you know, I don't know what context or from what angle you're asking that question, but when you think about this new normal that we're in, I think those kids actually know more than you." You know, you put a restriction on something like your social media or your TV or your videos or whatever, or your phone, they will circumvent a way around it, whereby what you think is security is actually nothing. You know, and I look back to my younger days, you know, and I remember that when I was, this was like during my pre-teens and my teen years, when things were a lot different. And my parents used to leave myself and Tina at home during the summer holidays and go to work. You know, we were at home on our own. And because my father didn't want us watching the TV, he'd put a padlock on the sitting room. You know, and the padlocks back then were really, really poor. And I say that because of the fact that I woke up one day and realized that with a hair clip, with you ladies' hair clip, I can actually open that padlock very, very easily, you know. And you know what we did because we knew back then that there was no way that our parents would have come home early for any reason. You know, they came home anytime from 4:30, 5 o'clock. So for the whole day, we were in the living room watching TV. You know, literally enjoying life. You know, and about 4 o'clock, 4:30, we'd hoover the sitting room, tidy it up. You know, put the padlock back on and go to our respective rooms, you know, and then, you know, and nobody was ever the wiser. You know, they just thought that we got used to not going into the sitting room, whereas, you know, we actually lived in the sitting room, you know. So, you know.
It's sad now because, I don't know, one of the councillor, Omolara, she directed a story of a child who had the phone seized at school. Because you're not supposed to have your phone out at school.
That's right.
I'm looking at secondary schools today, looking at their phone policies. I went to one school, I won't mention the name. If you bring your phone out of school, it gets seized for 6 weeks.
Wow.
And they have a lot of other very strict rules in that school. No physical contact for any reason. No excuses for not doing homework. And if you're as a parent, the head teacher said, if you don't like these rules, please don't send your kids here. But back to the story. Which is this child who had their phone seized. The mother went to the school saying, "You can't seize the phone. I bought the phone. It's in my name. It's my contract. Blah blah blah. Give me back the phone." The teacher said, "Can you please just sit down? We need you to see what was on your son's phone and what he was showing." Do you know what this boy was showing? This boy had filmed his parents having intimate relations.
Oh, you're joking me.
And so the woman collapsed with embarrassment, like, how, why? And, you know, boundaries, kids, again, that kid may have his own underlying issues. May be hyperactive, he may not have realized, he may have some kind of disorder, or he may have just been bad mind.
Yeah.
Bad mind picnic, as we say.
Yep.
So, we've got to have those boundaries and limitations with our kids. We've got to know what's on our kids' phones. Do you check your kid's phone? I shared something on another platform of a mum, child's 11, and the child that's 11, his mum checks his phone. But he was telling his mum was on some of his friends' phones. The same way. their mum don't check their phone. And it's horrific. Not just porn. I've given a stark warning to a number of parents on all my platforms where a child, again, when you think your child is just filming or making, let me say, body augmentation, just drawing on a girl's chest or making the girl look like they've got a big butty or whatever, all of this stuff are actual criminal offences.
Yeah.
Do you know that? They might think that their son's having a laugh. They won't think that their son's having a laugh until that person complains and says, one, you've taken a picture of me and you shared it. Two, you've made it sexualized. And three, it's upset my feelings. That's an instant. Police are taking action, okay? Whether the child is 11, 18, or you're a man of 20-something. Or it's only when they're in the police station and like, oh my God, they don't realize. And it's something that we have to just really be aware of, that we give them these devices. A lot of schools even give them the devices to do their homework on. It's compulsory. But there are risks. So we've got to have the boundaries. You've got to have the things in place. Do you know how to stop your child from going to particular websites? Do you have discussions with your child about what is age appropriate and why it's not, okay for them to be jumping onto different sites that put forward risky and adverse information? Does your child know that the algorithm will start pushing certain things towards them, even if they don't want it, because they've gone to certain websites? Do you as parents know where your child is? Have you got the location devices on their phones? Many kids who run away, one of the things I say to them is, to the parents, when their kids are acting up, is don't, withdraw the phone. Put the tracker on the phone so that when the child, where the child is at all times. So as parents, we've got to be a bit more digitally savvy. We've got to be secure, make sure our kids are secure,
Yeah, of course. But I don't know, because I'm one of these people that always believes that it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Yeah.
But saying that, still, we cannot relent. We cannot relent. We still have to play our part, really. Sometimes, in playing our part, I think that some part of us actually needs to become very unpopular, most especially with our kids, and loved ones, because I don't know what do we have to witness, or what do we have to experience before people sit up properly and take notes of the pitfalls that come with freedom. And a lot of these kids are very innocent. They are very innocent. They do things that they don't feel is wrong, in their eyes. They like you said, one child saying to his or her parents, so and so's mum doesn't check their phone. But this so and so's mum is also the same person who, if that child now goes out and commits an atrocity, will then try to blame someone else. Yes.
It reminds me of a story. There was this kids that went up. I don't know. They did this robbery. They were dealing. They were doing different things. None of them my clients or anything like that. But one of them had a mentor, and he, was like really disappointed. You're not supposed to be doing this. I've been putting hours into you. Why? Oh, he was like, well, they asked me to come along with them, and I didn't know they were going to commit the robbery. And the parent of one of the main people who did a lot of the aggression during the robbery, outside of court when they'd been sentenced, she was upset. And what was she upset about? She was upset because there was no one to drive her son's car. The BMW, which whatever series it was, at the age of 17, that he had no job. The mum was upset about who would drive the car home. And, you know, the mentor, he basically sat there and said, how do I compete with this? A parent who knows that her son has got that through completely illegitimate means, just anxious to get it home. Don't get me wrong. We understand that the mum don't want to make the son lose the asset. But the asset that was obtained through, you know, pure criminal activities.
Of course.
No shame, no nothing. Standing there loud as Lara.
Yeah.
Shouting back, and it's like, man, where do we go from here?
Well, you know, it's I don't know. I call it the hypocrisy of the world. You know, because it's like, I mean, there's this there's this joke video that's been passed that was passing around last week. You know, and I just happened to stumble on it. You know, and every time I think about it, I laugh. You got this big, you know, this, I won't say fat, but he was a big white guy, and he's being interviewed, and he says, "Oh yeah," he said, "they've taken all our jobs," you know, and the guy said, "What qualifications do you have?" He said, "They took those as well."
Hilarious.
You know, and I look at it that these are the people, you know, who complain about the immigrants. They complain about everything except themselves. You know, and I'm not just talking about white people. I'm talking about everybody, you know, who hasn't taken the time out to self-assess and self-evaluate, right? Self-evaluate and self-develop and self-progress, you know, and they will see others who have actually taken the time out to tick all those boxes to move on and get on in life. And then suddenly now these are the people who are messing up your status quo. You know, they're the people who are messing up your country, you know, but you've forgotten that these aren't actually people who are messing up your country. These are actually the people who are making your country great, for want of a better phrase. You know, they you know, I mean, I had some Americans in my vehicle this week gone, and we were saying exactly that. You know, that you know, all the people who actually improve your country and make your country fantastic are the people that you've now deported. You know, Baba Kukutia Karasao. Esho. It is well. It is well. No, so Jen, you know, and you know, all these people that take their time to come into the country, they pay their tax. You know, yeah, some of them pay, and you know, come on, let's not try and blow smoke up anybody's rear end. You know, a lot of people use other people's identity to work, but the thing is, bottom line is, the tax is still being paid. You know, whether you're paying it or they're taking it, you know, people are, you know, the tax is being paid, and the economy is thriving from it. You know, but then you now decide, oh yes, well, I want to show these people that I'm the president who doesn't take, you know, this, that, and the other for granted or whatever, and I want people to know that, yeah, you know, I want them to believe I really love my country, and you know, as an American or as a British person or whatever, you know, I'm going to show foreigners that they can't come into my country and mess around, you know. But you're forgetting that it's not these people that are taking the proverbial. It is your own people who have decided, oh yeah, well, I don't need to work, you know, I don't want to work, and I don't want to pay tax. But instead of that, what I'll do is I'll be unemployed and I'll sign on the dotted line every so often, and you guys can just keep giving me money for nothing.
But you know what it is? It's their sense of entitlement.
Of course.
And that sense of entitlement means that they've gone through their school. They've seen, you know, their country, yes, get a bit diversified. My country when I finish school. Even if I don't go college, I can go down to social. If I go college and go university, I can get a qualification and get a job. Whereas, again, those young migrants or migrant families that have come in, they may have had English as a barrier, they may have had finances as a barrier, not having their documents. So when they got opportunities, they jump on it with, hands and they grab and they maximize it.
Yeah.
David or whatever, the English person, or Susie, finish, if they've not gone to university because they've not seen the need or not had that hunger in their belly, jump on opportunities. Maybe do their retail job or do a bit of training. And then, life starts lifing.
That's right. That's right.
When life starts lifing, they're not ready for it. And then, who do they blame? They blame the immigrants.
Oh, definitely.
And who are they going to vote for?
Definitely.
They're going to vote for the party that says, everything is the immigrants' problem.
Yeah.
And that's why we've got to be very careful. I was talking to my daughters who are teenagers, and they were talking about those in their class who support reform. And it shocks them because they don't get it. And if you remember Brexit, we all thought we're safe. And this is why I know politics is not the thing, but we have to be very aware and we have to make our people empowered that reform is not playing. They said this week that if there was an election that Farage would win.
Well, you know what?
That's how stuck the numbers are.
This is how I view it. If there was an election tomorrow, Farage probably would win, right? But the question is, right, after the experiences of Brexit, right, would it better this country, right, or would it make it like America, where all of a sudden now the police have then become the Gestapo, and they would go out there and start misbehaving, right? And this isn't. I mean, obviously, this country is not America, right? And this country it actually has a different level of tolerance to America, And I'm not talking about the police. I'm not talking about the law enforcement. I'm talking about the people. It wouldn't. As I said to an American last week, I said this country is like a powder keg, right? If you was to push the people of this country to the levels that the American police and the American ICE and the American this and that push people, you'd have a riot here, quick time.
As I said, well, I'm from Tottenham, so we've had serious riots. Don't forget, I know about that a lot.
Oh yes.
I worry if reform does win and win for the wrong reasons,
Yeah.
of misinformation.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
We will be in a bit of trouble. We
Yeah.
will be. They are a far-right party. People need to start looking at manifestos. I'm gonna, especially our young ones, we need to educate them as to what each party stands for. Conservatives, we just saw Auntie Kemi, Sister Kemi, talking now this last week that she's going to increase stop and search. She's going to do certain things. Yeah, she talked about business rates, and I was like, hey, she got my attention on business rates. Hey, she got my attention on removing stamp duty as well. But the rest of it, no. And she doesn't have a clear lead. Without reform, and I think 19 councillors decamped to reform from the Conservatives. 19. That's serious numbers.
Well, you see, honestly speaking, no disrespect to anyone, I don't take anything that Kemi says.
I'm sorry, Gbenga, please.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
okay, sir. Because you are last, I saw her. Shall I
Yeah, all right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
I mean, I don't take anything that Kemi says, because to be honest with you, God forgive me, I consider most of what she says the ramblings of a fool, because she's, in my eyes and in the eyes of plenty of people, she's just trying to be accepted, so she'll say what. Does it
make you uncomfortable to watch it?
Say again?
Does it make you uncomfortable to see her so?
Yeah, it does. It does. It does. You know, you've known me for years, Jen. You know, I'm a realist. You know, I
speak the black woman to see her.
Yeah.
Like one of your colleagues stood up and said that there are too many brown faces, and you did not condemn that racist comment. And it fathoms belief, man.
You know, I don't. I think, you know, we're talking about mental health, and I think, you know, God forgive me, if she stood in front of me, I'd say it to her. I'd say, you know what, I think you need to be sectioned, you know, because you obviously haven't got a clue, and there's something definitely wrong with you. You know, there's something definitely wrong with you. You know, how can you honestly stand up, right, and slaughter your own people, right? Slaughter your own people, right? Most of what you're saying is wrong anyway. You're very, very misinformed. You know, your time in Nigeria wasn't spent properly, because, you know, for you to come back into this country and be telling people that you were in a boarding school that looked more like a prison because it was this, that, you know, I don't know. That's the equivalent of you standing up and agreeing with these bigots who say, yes, well, you know, in Africa, you know, they don't actually wear clothes. You know, they run around in banana leaves and climb up and down trees.
You need to go that far. Her colleague says makes a racist comment, and she doesn't slap it down.
Yeah.
She doesn't say, look, that's unacceptable. You know, in short, he needs to be more informed. She doesn't say anything like that. She actually defends the nonsense. That's the bit that,
you know,
when you've got that self-hatred that you can't even defend your own kind or your own self, because that, I feel, that was an indirect slap at her.
It was. But this is why I said that I think she needs help, mental health help. You know, because when someone's sitting there and literally calling you a monkey, right, saying to you that you were actually born in a jungle, you know, and your parents raised you in a tree, and you had to learn how to swing from branch to branch before you could learn to walk, and you're sitting there saying, yes, maybe that's very, very true. You know, why? Because of the fact that, you know, now I'm actually married to the slave master, and he's the one that brushed me up and brushed me down and made me feel that, you know, this is how human beings are supposed to behave.
Feel like I'm one of them. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess she has her own. Obviously, she has her own viewpoints on life, and she has her own ideology. But when somebody says something that is racist, that is against you, I mean, you don't sit down and join up with them and say, "Oh yeah, the man said there was too many brown faces in an area." And before anybody jumps on me and says that's his opinion, has he gone into a room and said there's too many white faces or too many Asian faces?
Well, you know what, Jen? I don't think I do. It's like, how can I put this? When somebody turned around and said, that why do they celebrate Black history? You know, why doesn't anyone talk about white history? You know, and the response that he got was, because every day is white history, right? You look around you and you see white history. You know, we don't need to celebrate it. Why are we celebrating it? You know, why are we celebrating? Why should we celebrate white history? Because you spent your whole existence, right, trying to show us exactly what you did during your history. I mean, our kids are taught it in the classrooms when they get taught British history. You know, our kids are taught, you know, everything except who they really are. You know, and it makes me laugh when you have these people protesting, oh yes, you know, why do we have to give them the audience, you know, about celebrating Black history, and, you know, why, you know, they take... Our
kids are not taught the truth. They're not taught about the inventors. They're not taught about the richest man on earth. They're not taught about those, you know, even the engineering feats. They don't talk about the Great Wall of Benin. They're not taught all of these things, and therefore, you know, what's the word? They say that when you examples and imagery is the best teacher, and unless they see it, they can't believe that they can be it.
That's correct.
If you don't show these kids and show the world how great Africans, Black people are, they'll always assume that we're like those kids they show in the Octobam commercials with flies around our eyes. That we're desperate, we're degraded, or
yes.
whatever the word.
But
that is a fact that a lot of people assume that because they've never seen black excellence. They've never seen it, so they assume. And I feel a lot of and so God forgive me, but a lot of the ignorant people in these parties, that's all they've ever seen. A lot of the ignorant people in Reform and in the Conservatives, some have never been to Africa, or only ever been or heard about safaris. They've never been and seen great inventors. They've never seen people who have created techniques in engineering, or the best surgeon, or they've not heard about the richest man. They've not known about how the Moors actually brought hygiene into Europe.
You know. I mean, you know what, Jenny. You know what makes me laugh is I remember when I was very, very young, and I honestly believed that the police service and every other service, including the fire service, traffic wardens, everybody, was all white people, and that black people could never get those jobs, etc., and so forth. And then the Brixton riots happened, and I heard that a black police officer had been cornered in the area of Railton Road in Brixton, and he was almost unalived by aggrieved black persons for being a policeman. And I remember asking my father, are there actually black people in the police service? I didn't realize that there were. I didn't realize that there were black people in the British Army at the time either, only for me to find out years later that there's loads. Now, because of the fact that so many, and I mean, I was talking to a young Asian lady yesterday on the way to the airport, and we covered this topic, and it was basically the fact that you've got so many black and Asian people who have so bought into the Anglo-American ideology that they are almost, or have almost, allowed their identity to be washed out of them.
But because they aspire to that, because it's always been shown to them as fantastic, as the best, as the pinnacle. They haven't been shown excellence from black cultures, and therefore they don't know, and they don't aspire for that. Well, you might then get Africans or Caribbeans who study black excellence, African excellence, and then aspire to go and live in Africa because they know, they're aware. You can only become what you're aware of.
That's correct.
So if you don't show it, and that's why Black History Month is really important. It's humongously important.
Of course. I mean, it's going slightly off script. I was having a conversation, and I've had this conversation a couple of times in the past, where I said to someone, you know what, my eyes have actually been opened to a number of things. And one of them is the fact that as an African, do a lot of people, especially our so-called Christian brothers and sisters, have they forgotten, or do they not realize that ever before the missionaries went to places like Africa and to India, and to all these other countries, that these people actually were already worshiping God, and they had their own cultures, they had their own traditions, etc., and so forth, their own mode of dress, the food that they ate, the way that they behaved. But then all of a sudden, you've got these people that have come in, they look different to you, they've come into your space, that space that we call personal space. They've actually invaded it, and they basically said to you, well, what you're doing is not how we do it, so you better start doing it the way we do it, or else. And generations and generations and generations down the line, all of a sudden now, everyone seems to believe, or they've brought themselves up to believe that yes, what those people said is true. Suddenly your traditions and your customs are fetish. They're wrong because you're not doing it the way that these people are doing it. And it's the same with industry, it's the same with business, it's the same with everything. I'm not saying by any means that corruption is good, But the thing is, corruption is right across the board. You know, crime is right across the board. But the only ones that get highlighted, right, are the negatives done by persons who don't look like them. You know,
Yeah.
and
I think my friend was saying the other day that when a white person has a mental health breakdown, he has a mental health breakdown, and he was what's the word? Changed by the things he was fed by the algorithm. When a black person has a meltdown, they are a radicalized extremist terrorist.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know, that brings
the black and they're splashed all over the news. The white guy is not splashed all over the news, or you might get a 2-second slot on the 10 o'clock news. But the black guy plastered everywhere on all the front pages, monster. You know, but when you go now look and see that black man or woman has had a history of psychosis, not helped in the community, family have gone asked for help and not gotten it, and then suddenly they're a monster. Not that the system failed them, but when the black guy has it, oh, it's so sad. He committed a crime due to mental ill health.
Yeah,
it's terrible.
It is. I mean, you know, that brings me on to the topic of Mr. Knight, who is up for parole. Now, my question is this: had Mr. Knight been black,
people might not know who he is,
right? So Mr. Knight. Yeah, I was actually just coming to that. Now, had Mr. Knight been black and Stephen Lawrence was white, would they be considering letting him out on parole, right? Citing that he's reformed, he's a good boy now, you know, he's up for it because of good behavior, you know, and he stepped forward and said, yeah, well, he didn't actually do anything except throw a couple of punches, you know, and
he did so much wrong.
Of course he did.
Furious that he has covered for a killer.
Yeah, of course he has.
He is not the killer himself, like he says he's not. I don't believe. You know, if you're going to recant and if you're going to seek reparations, then tell the world what happened.
Yeah. Right. Now, here's my question, and I'm glad I'm asking it to yourself, who, you know, you're a member of the honorable legal profession. Now, if, as I said, Mr. Knight was black and Mr. Lawrence, God rest his soul, was white, and Mr. Knight then turns around and says, well, you know what, I'm very sorry for my part that I played in the unaliving of said person, you know, but I didn't actually do, you know, all the negative parts you know, that pertain to him being unalived, right? But I did throw a couple of punches and I did throw a couple of kicks. Okay, fine, you know, but I can't tell you who did, you know, because, you know, it would impact my life and my family's life, right? Now, as you quite rightly said, as a member of the legal profession, right, and I'm saying it as a member of the law enforcement profession, right? As far as I'm concerned, right, you are still a danger to society, right? Because that means if they now listen to you and think, oh yeah, well, you know, he has said he's sorry, so let's let him out there and see how it goes. He's now going to walk into his family, and they're going to have a laugh and a joke. They're going to have a big knees up because, yep, now he's back on the streets because the other guys are not inside. You know, they're also out. You know, some of them never went in the first place, you know, and they're going to have a big knees up that, yep, they're all out now, right? They're going to stick their middle fingers up to the world that, well, you know, yeah, well, I went in. While I was in, I had a PlayStation. I had 3 square meals. I lived in a nice house. I had a nice flat, because as far as I'm concerned, an open prison is a flat. You know, and you know, I was revered by people who think and look like me. You know, so you know, where are we going? Because as you said earlier on in this conversation, Reform are fighting very, very hard, to gain the actual recognition that they want, and that is for Farage to be the next prime minister, right? Are we now going into the realm of being like America, where our prisons are heaving with persons who are of color, and the persons who are not of color will be walking the streets despite all the crime that they're committing? Now this is a question.
It's scary. Right now, the way that they dish out sentences for boys who, even first-time offenders, in comparison to the tariff, let's say call it the tariff, so the years or the duration that another child, Caucasian, will spend, it's different.
Of course.
There's a case, and I think it was a case where a young man, he raped a girl, and the judge didn't even send him to prison. Called it an unfortunate incident. Whereas if it was obviously a child of colour, he would have gone down for at least 6 years.
Almost definitely.
We can't be having that.
Of course.
But that is the kind of society we're going to end up building up if
but DJ, you see, you do see the problem, and the problem there is this, right? Now, you would have at a trial like that, you would probably have a solicitor or a barrister who is of color, who would have then been told to toe the party line, right? And don't do this, and don't do that, because we don't want to rock the boat, right? Because, I mean, speaking from experience, you'll have the the person on trial being of color, the prosecution legal eagle will be of color, right? And he will throw some damning questions at the person being accused. He will cross him off when he's trying to make a point. He won't let him finish his sentences, and then catch him on certain words and phrases. And then when he's now interviewing the person who is not of color, this is the same prosecutor who happens to be of color, will then be interviewing someone who is not of color, and will be asking him what he had for breakfast, and what was on TV last night. Did he have a great night? No serious questions that would actually help the case of the person standing trial. Questions that are more than obvious, that would prove that the person who's on trial was actually innocent. You wouldn't go that far, because you know that this person would get off. So, you wouldn't go there, but you would slam hard down on the person who is on trial, right? And try and make that person look worse than they really are. And this is the case with Mr. Lawrence and the rest of those persons who, honestly speaking, I don't really like mentioning their names, because I'm disgusted that the country is even wasting taxpayers' money to sit this guy down and ask him how he is and how prison has treated him, and that is he looking forward to going back to his mum and dad.
We don't even need to go that far. Look at his wife, who said that they should burn down the hotels with asylum seekers in it.
Wow.
She came out and they were treating her like a queen, and saying that what she did was not wrong.
Amazing. I honestly do not know where we're going, to be honest. Obviously, we're a lot older now and what have you, but I fear for the kids. I really do fear for the kids, especially, with this reform thing that we're talking about. I mean, and as I keep saying on this platform, the whole idea is to try and make Africa great again, so that we can give them what they want, go back to where we came from, and then have them knocking on our door because they want something that we've got, and then for them to come over to Africa, right, and apply for work, and apply for right to remain.
Pay for their visas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pay a lot for their visas. It should be the same.
Exactly.
Imagine if it was the same amount, or at least even half. It would raise so much revenue.
Of course. you know. But on foot, like, you know, as we're going to keep saying, because of the fact that a lot of these people have so eaten into this ideology that the better life is outside of Africa, right? They cannot or have not, and I don't think they ever will see the fact that the reverse is actually the fact. You know, everything that you see in diaspora, right, is as a result of the you know, as some of my brothers used to say, as a result of the master. You know, the man has gone over to your house and he has borrowed it, you know, citing the theft act citing the theft act of 19 whatever, right? You know, with the intentions of you know, misappropriating it and not intending to give it back. You know, and it's terrible. I don't know for how long we are going to keep on like that. You know, I want to bring in Coyote and Dara Legbe, right? Because he's been sat there patiently, and I really would like to hear his take on everything we've been saying so far. Coyote, are you there? Coyote, are you there? No? Okay. But yeah, you know,
we talked him to sleep.
Yeah, probably.
The other thing I sort of say is like, Britain went and colonized African and Asian countries. So you're going to have African and Asians that have a right to be here, whether it's through right of abode or from parents or through one way or another. So they cannot then sit down and complain when they see brown faces. We are their legacy. You went into our countries, reaped, took a stake, actually claimed it as your own. So we are your legacy.
That's
and
right.
We're going to be the beneficiaries of that legacy. And that is a bit that they all seem to miss. We are going to be the beneficiaries of that legacy.
That's correct.
We didn't ask you to come and take. We invited you. We wanted to collaborate. You decided to then claim. And since you claimed, we are now, you know, part of your history and your legacy. We will have that right. And if anybody has entitlement, it is us. And that's why when I have that conversation with a lot of staunch, you know, people that don't realize that many migrants are not what's the word, unentitled to be here. They're eligible to be here,
of course,
and entitled,
of course.
And that bit, you know, when you explain it and break it down like that to many people, they get offended. And they want to now start changing.
That is because
the rules that you like.
It's
still gonna mean many of us are still entitled to be here.
You see, the problem is, you know, this goes back to, you know, earlier points made. You know, I call it indoctrinization, right, of certain individuals who have gotten so comfortable in their own skin, right, that they turn their noses up at the facts, the reality of things, you know, and they don't realize that they are being used by the system, like Auntie Kemi, Sister Kemi, call her what you like, you know, who is being used as a tool, you know, to make people think a certain way and to see things a certain way. And, you know, this is you know, when you have been used in that manner and you come out nationally to say, well, there's no such thing as racism, you know, it's all in people's minds, you know, that you've been here so long and, you know, you get along with everybody and everybody loves you. You know, only for you to open your social media 24 hours later, and the very people who you claim are not racist, right, have slaughtered you, you know, calling you all sorts of names under the sun. Say again?
Denigrated you.
Yeah.
It's horrible to see.
You know, now, obviously she's playing cleanup now, and she's trying to find, you know, other ways. But then she's still digging down by saying, you know, she's going to increase this and she's going to increase that, you know. But the thing is, you know, when you say you're going to increase stop and search, right, you already know that, you know, your figures, you know, your high figures are going to be based on the fact that the people being stopped and searched, right, are the people of color. You know, it's like I said to someone the other day, I said, you know, a lot of things have happened in this country that made me laugh. And one of them was the 0 hours contract, you know. And I said the 0 hour contract for me made me laugh in the sense that they brought in 0 hours contract, but they failed to understand that when you sat there claiming that the 0 hours contract, you know, and unemployment has dropped, was because of the fact that people were signing these 0 hour contracts, which are not worth the paper they were printed on anyway, right? And people were on them, right? So like you have 2,000 unemployed and you've got 1,500 people on 0 hours contracts, and you're saying, yes, unemployment is down by 1,005. Now these 1,500 people, all right, have woken up every day and done 1 week's work because that's what is offered to them, right? 1 week's work, so that means they've worked 4 days a month. And as far as your figures are concerned, you know, you've got 1,500 people in work, but these 1,500 people are still reliant on the state, because how are they going to pay their bills? You know, how are they going to live? How are they going to survive? You know, and it's the same. You know, it's the same with everything right across the board. You know, nobody's being told the truth. You know, and you know, we're doing everything that we can now, and you know, as you know, my gospel on this platform is, you know, I want to make Africa, possibly Nigeria, great again. You know, and how we're going to do that, and that is by educating ours, right, and letting them know that yes, you've got this knowledge from abroad. You know, you've got these skills, you've got this skill set, right. Now take it away from the people who are using you, right, and take it back home, right, because then if you take it back home and you use it back home, and everything back home starts looking like it looks over here, if not even better, right? Because one thing I do know is that a solar powered vehicle in Africa would be a serious touch. You know, it would be an absolute serious touch because we've got enough sunshine, right? Enough heat to drive those things, you know, probably even better than here. But nobody is doing that because of the fact that we, you know, God forgive us, have allowed ourselves to be brainwashed into believing that if you do that, it's wrong, you know, and you're taking away from the British, you're taking away from the Americans. You know, now when we're talking about security, we should be talking about the security of our country, of our homeland, you know, of our nation, of our traditions, you know, security of our beliefs, you know, and get our kids to recognize the difference between culture, between tradition, you know, and recognize who they are. You know, I haven't got a problem with my kids being born in the UK or being born in America or being born in Europe, you know, learning to speak these languages and learning the ways and the cultures of all these people. But I do have a problem with these people now trying to tell our people, right, that everything that we have in our country is wrong and that, you know, it should be handed over to the British and the Americans because they know how to deal with it better. You know, people like Trump, you know, who wants to go into other countries and take it over as if it's another company. You know,
yeah, exactly. It's just bizarre.
It is. You know, I have serious misgivings where that is concerned, because, you know, I mean, and you know, my American friends who I spoke with last week agree with me that, you know, now he's trying to pass a law whereby he will continue to be the American president for as long as he wants to be, right? Which has never been done in the history of America. You know,
you see the judge's house that got burned down that tried to block him.
Yeah.
This week, that's scary.
You know that it's never been done in the history of America. You know, and all of a sudden now you want to change everything. You want to change all the rules. You want to change all the laws to suit yourself, right? And your white supremacist law. You know, And you know, if you look, he's using a lot of people of color along the way. You know, he's got what's the other young sister of color that he uses, and he's got an Asian FBI chief, you know, and all these people, you know, to try and make it look as if to say it's not a whitewash. You know, he's got people in there, but I think the young lady has her eyes are slowly opening to the fact that yes, you know, these people are actually fake, you know, and that she's made a mistake, and I hope she does realize that she's made a massive mistake in some of her past utterances, because if I remember rightly, that she had a lot of negatives to say when George Floyd was unalived, you know.
Exactly. It's scary. We have to have our wits about us. Due process has gone in America at the moment. The government's even shut down. So if you're black and you're waiting for documentation, you file papers, you're not leaving the house, basically. And if you've got business engages migrants, again, your cost of operations is just skyrocketing. And if you've got an illness in America, and you and I know, your cost of your healthcare has shot.
That's correct.
So he knows what he's doing with that country. He knows what he wants to do with the power that he currently has and doesn't want to let go of. And he knows who he has, let me say, put in position to help him stay there.
Of course.
When you see some of the people of color defending him, it's gut-wrenching.
It is very, very, very gut-wrenching. You know, I mean, I was watching, because I do follow some of the inquest that's going on at the moment with the Epstein case. I do follow quite a bit of it on YouTube, you know, and for me to watch, I mean, I was watching a gentleman of color speak last week. You know, he's a veteran, you know, and et cetera and so forth, and he was literally trying to slaughter Yasmin Crockett, you know, about some of the things that she's saying, and praising Donald Trump for his relentless work, etc. and so forth. And I was thinking to myself, well, you know what? If tomorrow, right, your son or your daughter gets picked up, right, and totally brutalized on the streets of America, right, would you still sit there and defend the actions of these people that are going out, you know, and don't care about the consequences? Because as far as they're concerned, you know, it's going to happen, you know, it's going to be flagged, but they're going to walk away anyway, and, you know, given leave with pay, you know, until it's all cleared up and they can come back to work, you know. And it sucks, you know, it really sucks. You know, for how long is this meant to go on for?
It's going to go on long enough.
Oh, definitely.
If you listen to the FBI agent, you know that he didn't review the files.
No.
He didn't speak to the victims.
No.
He didn't. And it's in any other administration, this would be seen as negligence.
That's correct.
But he's just getting away with it.
Yeah, right. And he's getting away with it because he's got so many people on that panel there that support him, you know, that support Trump, you know, and they don't want to rock the boat because of obviously there's something that they're all gaining from it. You know, he's obviously, you know, the backhanders obviously are fantastic, you know, and they're living, you know, beautiful lives, and, you know, they're all members of the old boys club, and they're all, you know, all the back slapping parties are going on, and, you know, after these days in the chair at the house, you know, they're all going off to have their wine and cheese parties, you know, and to mock whoever it is or whatever it is that has stood up and challenged whatever. You know, there's at the moment in America, there's no accountability for bad practice. You know, there's none whatsoever. And it's a shame because, you know, when I look at that and I look at Nigeria, right, it's kind of like similar, because in Nigeria, you know, there's a lot of there's a lot of non-accountability, you know, for bad practices. And this is the reason why we are in the rut that we're in. You know, because you know, you make a valid point there that the judge who tried to block certain things got his house burned down, right? It's the same thing that happens in our beautiful country called Nigeria. You know, the moment you go up against someone, they send people around, and you know, and people disappear. You know, and these are the things that we need to wake up to. That for how long do you know? And a lot of people know that most of what goes on in other parts of the world, you know, i.e., Africa, Asia, you know, and all these countries, is because of interference from the West. Everybody knows that. You know, the moment you start to make headway or you start to get a foothold in the stuff that you do, you know, all of a sudden there's civil unrest. It all goes to pot, you know, and then all of a sudden the Americans and the British say they want to send troops in there to go and stabilize it, but that's not that's not
the reason.
No.
They're after the resources.
Yeah. You know,
and they're after control.
That's right. You know, all of a sudden, you know, yesterday the governor of such and such a state was David Williams. You know, he was blonde haired and blue eyed. No, he was no. Yesterday the custodian of this particular parcel here was Addy somebody, right? But today, 48 hours later, it's David Williams, who is blonde haired and blue eyed, doesn't speak the language, doesn't like the food, you know, can't really stand the heat, but he's here anyway, you know, and all of that land that he's on there suddenly belongs to him, you know, and you are actually working for him in your own home, you know, and you know, I don't know for how long this is meant to go on, you know, I really don't. You know, for me, it beggars belief, to be honest with you, that in 2025, we're still having these conversations. You know, I would have thought that by now in the 21st century, you know, people would have woken up and, you know, by...
The next generation, a lot of them are, as we said, online, uninformed, and not bothered. So it's a challenge.
It is. You know, and it will take me back to my initial point, which I started last week, and that is what is more important, money or life? Because you know, in Africa today, you know, people don't seem to be too bothered because of the fact they're making money. You know, and so long as they're making the money, they're not really too bothered whether things are working or not. You know, they've got the flashy car, they've just built a really swanky looking house. You know, but they built it in quicksand, you know, and so before the house sinks, they want people to see it, you know, and point at it and say, that's my house, you know. But as I said to somebody once, what is the point in buying a Lamborghini, right? That is, you know, when you stand next to it, right, you can literally step over it because it's that low, but then you don't have the roads to which you want to drive it on in Lagos. You know, so you've totally wasted your money buying a car that's, you know, with the money that you spent on that car, you could have used it to buy like 25 acres of land, you know, and built yourself a massive estate and made your money off of that. But you went and bought a swanky car that can't be driven because, number one, you know, you've got potholes that look like another country. You know, you've got you got swamps everywhere, bushes everywhere, and then on top of that, you know, you've got reptiles that appear to you out of nowhere, you know, and debar you from enjoying that, you know, mortgage that you bought.
So they want to be called chairman.
Yes. Yes. You want to be called chief. You know, so I don't know. I honestly don't know where we're going. You know, I only pray to God that one day, you know, somebody somewhere will wake up and say enough is enough. You know, I only hope. But it is a prayer, and I do believe in the power of prayer. And I do believe that, you know, someday we will get there.
Amen. I have to run now.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure as always.
Fashion today. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much.
I hope everybody has a blessed Saturday.
And you.
And things must change. We'll be positive.
Yes, we'll keep the positive. We'll keep the positivity. You know, we'll keep it going because you know, it's the way forward as far as I'm concerned. You know, there's no point in crying over spilt milk. The milk has been spilt. All we've got to do now is find a way to mop it up. You know, and you know, pick up that baton and run with it. You know, and hopefully in the not so distant future, you know, things will start to change for the better. So yeah, once again, as always, DJ, thank you so much for your input. And yeah, keep me posted as to that young lady, because and anybody that's listening, as I said last week, and we've said it ever since Dr. Jenny joined the team here, that any advice that you need or anything that's baffling you legal wise, she is a barrister. And very good at what she does. She covers both civil rights and amongst other things. So yes, we left the link last time, but if you need to contact her, just DM me and I will pass her details on. Or Dr. Jen, if you want to just drop them again on the page here, then anyone that's here that's listening that needs them, they can take them and contact you directly. So thank you very much once again, Dr. Jennifer. Always a pleasure, never a chore. And hopefully we'll see you again next week.
Yeah, take care. Bye-bye.
All right, see you then. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is I, Michael Gbenga Oshin, here as I am every week. I did see the global president come in at some point. He seems to have disappeared slightly. I'm hoping he'll be back very, very soon to give us an update as to everything fantastic that's going on within the global cluster. It's always a pleasure to see him. I have another one of my bosses now who's just coming in. Good morning, General. How are you, sir?
I'm fine.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
How are things your end?
Thank God.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So, sir, it's for me. It's always fantastic to listen to views from persons who have more of a Nigeria experience than myself. Now, with the way things are in the Western world now, and the fact that people don't seem to realize that with everything that we do here in this country, we really, really should be looking at, most especially us, our kids, and our kids, looking at everything that we're doing, the experiences that we're picking up, right? How and what provisions are we making for taking all of these experiences back to our country to make it great again? What do you think is needed for us to be able to be in countries like Nigeria, Ghana, anywhere in Africa, anywhere in Asia, where people from this world, the Western world, would be coming over to us to get visas to work, to have to look for work and, and work under us, in a country that's thriving. What do you think is missing? And how do you think that we can improve it?
Thank you. The problem with a country like ours is that everything has been politicized, which is killing our country is politics. Every aspect has been politicized. Even thinking, even everything and the system at which we choose our leaders, that system is bad. It will take us another 40 years of seriousness to get it right. Because saying the politics is goes for who has the money. And those who the system at which we pick our leaders, those who are supposed to be in politics, things they don't have the chance, or things they are not interested. So those we left in the politics are the people within themselves that decide who is to be the leader. Just outside the circle, not decide. It is the same people from the world that they will select those who is have security. Now, they need to take order from somewhere. And those people that
You need to unmute yourself on the stream.
I've done that. Sorry, I do apologize.
All right. So that the YouTubers and the Facebookers, they can actually listen to what I'm trying to say here. This is a concern. If you're on this program right now, share it with your children. This is a program. This is the social media. Every parent can have a rest of mind and say, "Hey, I'm sure of what my children are watching," because they are engaging. They are feeding their mind with the right content. Can you imagine? It's so hilarious. I just came into TikTok and I saw a platform and I saw over 2,000 people engage in that platform, and everything they are doing, they are not even talking about how their local government can move from where it is to where it ought to be. Nobody is talking about that. Nobody is mentioning about the insecurity we are faced with. Nobody is mentioning about the level of poverty, the level of unemployment. Nobody is talking about solutions. They are only talking about frivolities. I heard somebody was talking, saying, if I've dated somebody before, don't date the person with me. What does that have to do with what we are currently going on? We have more pressing issues. We have the mantra, manga, make Africa and Nigeria great again. Can't you see what Traore is doing? Every community can just come together and do this, and we have made it easy for everybody. We have created an African hub, proudly Nigeria, proudly African hub. Everybody should come together. The sparkup.org. The sparkup.org. Just come together and create your own hub. You will see all of the great meetings that we are having every day. From the mind surgery revolution to the survival strategies in the new normal, to the humanity revolution every Tuesday, to the genuine love revolution every Wednesday, to the project ARE, Agric Real Estate and Export. No, to B2B network, business network, like an international conference that people pitch and you connect with people. To accurate connection revolution, to the certificate revolution, to let's talk about security with Colonel Michael Gbenga Oshin, to accurate knowledge and information revolution headed by Professor Adebayo Oladipupo, the current dean of Unilag. To people revolution. These are the things that we should engage in. We have created something for the youth corpus, grad to great. Check the spark up. Let us check the spark up. Let us all engage in this. This is our own social media. And it's nation building. We don't need to create another social media that will be doing frivolities. The sparkhubs.org. Go and sign up for free. Inform your family members. Inform your brothers. Inform every forward thinker. This is not a place to show them. As a matter of fact, such engagement of frivolity talks, we don't even welcome it in that platform. Every discussion should be about taking the nation from where it is to where it ought to be. Taking our father's land from where it is to where it ought to be. And that is what we should engage in. So I want to say this to everybody. And I want to say that, we cannot build a beautiful Federal Republic of Nigeria without this. We cannot. There's no way we can have a beautiful Federal Republic of Nigeria without this. The spark up, the spark up, it's a no-brainer. It's the real deal. You understand? It's the real deal. It's the real deal. You know, spark up is the real deal. It's the real deal. Everybody, we all need to come together. The global cluster is that the ideology behind it is that let's create little cluster. Let all of us, you know, all of us, we are smarter than one of us. The combination of myself and Colonel Oshin alone on this is security something. We go far. Already, immediately we met, he saw it. Things started changing concerning the security this thing. Even before we have all of this website, we started moving. He said, I needed this. I said, one call away to the person. Bang. He said, so I said, it's on ground. There is nothing we want that is not on ground. But I don't like all of this engagement of what did very dark man say? What did this one say? What did apropos? We do a lot of apropos, and our nation is going down. When people Google us, they will now see apropos. Algorithm is very sensitive now. Do you know this spark up just got ready less than 2 weeks, and we are still testing.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? AI already knows everything about the spark up.
Of course.
AI. Yesterday, I was with the CEO of AppView. We were together. I just said, AI, map me now. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just said, AI, map me now. He already said, oh, this is what the Spark Up is trying to do. It's a first nation building social media platform connected with the global clusters. And this, he was mentioning, he knew that he was appreciating from the global clusters for free to the people. He mentioned points that, as a matter of fact, I was shocked and said, who told you? We are in a world that all of this apropos that they are doing, AI is recording it. All this apropos that people are doing online, AI is recording those apropos.
Mm-hmm.
And when people now Google us, they will now be seeing so many apropos. So we need people to come on board and add their voice to what we are discussing here today. We need you to come and add your voice to what we are discussing here today. You have to lower that one, the other one, and mute it. Lower the volume.
Yeah, done.
But we need people to come on board. We cannot have a nation as big as Nigeria with a lot of potentials, and we left it lying fallow, and we are all living abroad. We are all living in a place that is like heaven. Why our own father's land is looking like jungle? We cannot do that. You know, it's not something that, we should, support. We should all stand up and know that we are all integral part of this nation. And you see, the ideology of the global cluster is that you have something to contribute. Even if you think you are just a great man or anything you think you are, no matter the level you think you are, you have something to add to our father's land. And that is why we have created this community. So I know the damage is huge, but I'm a man to share there.
Yeah.
If you have a cup full of dirty water, if you pour a clean water, the water will still look dirty, but it's not as dirtier as it was, because some clean water has been added to it, that has been diluted. But it might not look neat at that time. But the truth of the matter is that the real deal is that we are doing something. The global cluster started as a vision last year. And as I'm talking to you, that's metamorphosed to a movement. It's a major movement, and we are calling out all meaningful Nigerians. I'm calling you out. I'm calling everybody out. I said, instead of NSAS, instead of NBAN government, let us all come together and tell Dangote, start mining 2 Dangotes in every local government. Let's give you 2 youths from the local government. These 2 youths, we see that they are taking your kind of step. And they've owned this business, start mentoring them. Otedola, start mining 2 of Otedola. Obi Kubana, start mining 2 of Obi Kubana in business-wise. Are we not going to have a better society like that? There is no level that anybody is today that someone did not support you. We are discussing meaningful things. Only few people are here. If we start talking about sex or yash or this one or that one, you will see so many people. Or if you start saying that I want to do a giveaway of 1,000 naira, you need the right words for your mind. The quality of your mind will determine the quality of your life.
That's right.
The KIC of the global cluster, which is knowledge, information, and connection, to whom you are connected to determine what you collect. You cannot be connected to the most old and be most high. It's not possible. This is an era of AI. Be careful of what you are posting. Everything you post, AI will tell people about you. AI will tell them that this is who you are. As we are talking now, somebody can go and say, what is this name? The global president. You can just ask AI, who is the global president of the global cluster? You will see what it's going to tell you. You can go and ask AI, who is Ambassador Adekunle Badmus? You will see what it will tell you. I want to quickly welcome the grand entrance of the 001 ARA concept of the global cluster in the person of Dr. Makinde. You are welcome, sir. Thanks for all you do to contribute positively to humanity.
Good morning, sir.
You understand? Please, this is an intellectual movement. We have done different kind of movement. Let us start intellectual movement. Let the intellectual come together. All of us, we have been going solo. Now, I'll do my own. The Colonel Oshin will do his own. Because Imagde will do his own. MC Mama will do her own. Everybody will do their own. Kanade Ademide will do his own. No, let us all come together because we reason the same way. That is why we are here. You understand? Let us all come together. If we come together, you can imagine what we're going to achieve. Let us move this intellectual movement. Let's start telling our children. Let's talk about nation building. What do you want to contribute to your father's land? What do you want to do? Let us stop bringing our father's land down. Let us start adding value to our father's land. Let us start giving it the right value that it needs. Let us start calling it the right name that we're supposed to call it. The growth and the development we all wanted in the Federal Republic of Nigeria is in your hand. Somebody and you that are asking that question. You that you are going to be watching this YouTube after now. You say, but I was not in the live meeting and you are saying that I was just watching it. Yes, it's in your hand. Put your own quarter to your father's land. Everybody, regardless of who you are, I'm calling out all Nigerians in Nigeria and all Nigerians in the diaspora. I'm calling out all Africans in Africa and all Africans in the diaspora. We must unite now. We don't have any choice. If we really want to build a beautiful Federal Republic of Nigeria and the United States of Africa, everybody must unite. We must not try to let us come together and resolve it. Let's learn to resolve amicably. Let's learn to give patience chance. Let's give peace chance. Let's give patience chance. Let's give peace chance. Let's give patience chance. Anytime you normal come up, let's give patience and peace chance to live. We must come together to do stuff. Let Ejika Nisuru Furawa. Small thing. You want to have you are trying to have follower. You are trying to use a propaganda to have follower. And in having that follower, you are dragging your mother's land, your father's land into the mud. And when anybody is googling us, they'll be seeing fulfillity. Anybody show see. I was in my house. I live in the topmost floor. You understand? In my house, I was at one of my bank colleagues. I have 3 bank colleagues, and I was looking at the street, and something happened. An accident happened, and immediately 3 police vehicles came to rescue the situation. No news anywhere. Small something like that will happen somewhere. Somebody will just pick his or her phone and start recording. Social media will never forget. They will start recording. They will start recording. What are you recording? Why are you recording? What are you doing? You are bringing down our father's land. You are bringing down the land that we are supposed to be building together. Some of us, we have an attitude of that cannot help us. I'm telling you, this thing will affect us, will affect our children. So one day my children will not say they want to come to Nigeria. If we don't try to bring everybody together now, give everybody sense of belonging, invest in those that have talent, let us put how much do we really need to survive? We are in a nation where some people have too much. When somebody has not eaten for 3 days. That is the kind of nation we have found ourselves. A lot of people live less than $1. This should be a concern. How do we rescue this kind of situation? How do we create an inclusivity? How do we create a concept to come together? And that is why we have come up with the global clusters. This is our own social media. Our social media should be a social media that will repair us. Our social media should be a social media that will take our nation from where it is to where it ought to be. Take our community from where it is to where it ought to be. Let us start taking advantage of our values. We've gotten values. We've gotten things. Talking about security. How do you secure yourself? You need to identify yourself first before you can secure yourself. Who are you? Do you sabi yourself? And that was what we talked about yesterday at the Certificate Revolution. When the purpose of a thing is not discovered, abuse is inevitable. When you don't know yourself, you will abuse yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
Some of you are protoges. Because you don't know that you are protoges, this is not your first time on earth. You know things that people don't know. You are anything you don't even know that thing that you are angry about is the reason why you were born, to solve the problem. I don't want to take a lot of time. I know our time has been fast spent, and I know I have great speakers in the house. And it's an intellectual movement, it's a discussion, and we do talking and do. When we talk here, we take steps. We don't just talk and put it in the corner. No, and that's why we talk every day. After this meeting, we're going to have accurate knowledge and information revolution in the evening. It's a no-brainer. You understand? So, and we engage in talk, and we try to make sure that we put people right. We are pouring the right water into the. I know let me see Nigeria as a dam. That a lot of bad thing has been poured. You can see everybody should be here discussing this. This is the real deal. This is what we should be talking about. How we move every community from where it is, how we solve unemployment problem. Global Cluster has been a platform that is acting like LinkedIn for us, it's acting like Facebook for us, acting like WhatsApp for us, acting like everything for us. Marketplace for us, Amazon for us. We have created it our own. You can even switch to Yoruba language. You can switch to Igbo language. So it's a no-brainer. So I wouldn't want to be the only one to talk today. You know, I know some people have been talking and they've left and all of that, and I have great speakers here. I know MC Mama, I want to hear your voice concerning this. I know you've been commenting, you know, MC Mama T, what's your take on this? It's security revolution of the global clusters, and we are saying that let us all come together and join this intellectual movement. Every Saturday we meet on this channel to talk about security. The man anchoring for us is a retired colonel from the British Army, a British-born Nigerian. The parents are Nigerians, but he was born in Britain, entered Nigeria for the first time after 17 years of his life, and he has served in the British Army. He served in Ketuenikeda, and today now he's volunteering to lead a revolution on how to put our security right. He's based in the United Kingdom. He's willing to leave United Kingdom for Nigeria. If Nigerians are listening now, have a soft landing for him, because he has built all his life in the United Kingdom, and he's doing well for himself. So he's ready to leave and said, okay, come, I'm ready to. He's ready to train the police for free. He's ready to train the army for free. He's ready to come and offer every experience he has gotten for us. MC Mama T, what's your take on this, please?
Yeah, good morning, my fellow people. I love being in your midst this morning. Let me say I want to learn more. And I really want our country to be better. I think Mr. Michael, I've chatted you over this a couple of days ago.
That's correct.
And not even knowing that you're even an host, that I really want to learn in you guys' midst. Yes, I want to learn. Because we really want this Nigeria to be better. And how can we do it? We have to join our hands together and make it work. Yes, we have to join our. It does not matter how educated you are. It does not matter how social you are. As long as you have the mindset that we want this country to be better. We want the security to be perfect. We want everybody to be one, to be the same. We can fight it together and we can do it. Yes, that I know. And how can we do it? It depends on you guys that is over there, that you know the right way to keep. So all the people that is here in Nigeria, if we are interested, we can join our hands to you guys and we can make it work. Especially me, I want to learn. Even as this morning, I was just telling my daughter that I want to go a journalism school. Because at my age, I still want to do more. I want to do more. And this is how we can do it. This is how we can make it work. It's not by bullying ourselves, dragging ourselves to mud. Any little thing, because our dialect, we can use it to do sort of bad things. We start using it to do bad things. No, we can use our voice. Anybody that knows how to talk, come out and talk. Anybody that knows how to do anything you know how to do that will make it work. We should all come out and make it work. We should join ourselves together. Anybody that is doing good thing, let's join ourselves. It's not, oh God. I feel bad. I feel bad each time, each day I look at our country. And we know that Nigeria has a lot of things that can make it work. Nigeria have it. But because we are not doing it in the right way, we are not doing it in the right sense. The social media of a thing, we're supposed to use it to bring ourselves, we're supposed to use it to make ourselves better. But contrary about it, they are using it to bully our children, bully yourself, bully the family. Yes, that is what they are using it to do. That is it. But on this, we can use it to speak our mind out. Tell the government this is exactly what we want them to do for us. Anybody that have the power, anybody that have the voice, you come out and do something good. Something good. Let's do it. It can work. Nigeria can still be better. It can still be better because of our children. The old ones, they have done their own, and we can see that they have spoiled everything for us. Yes, this set of ages, we can turn it around. We can turn it around, not until we are not jackpot to we. If you jackpot today, the rest people that are there, is it possible for everybody to jackpot from Nigeria and say, we want to leave Africa? Is it possible? No. No. Then the people that are over there, they really want to come to their country. Everybody, because of the security aspect of it, they are scared to come just because of the way we do things. And then we can, if we do it better, everybody will look good. That I know. If we do it better, everybody will look good. And what can we do is for me and you to come out and do it. You guys that are there, look for people like us that you can train. Tell us what to do. If we don't even have the knowledge, like me, I don't have the knowledge, I want to learn. I want to learn. If they can train us and tell us what to do, we are ready to do it. Among people that were raising the voice on justice for mobile justice, but when I decided and I look at what they are doing in that caucus, I see that there is no truth in it. I step back. But if there is truth and they are ready to stand for justice, yes, that is where you will see someone like me. I don't me kawe, but I tried all I could do for my children not to look like me. I tried all I could do for people around me. If I say, why do you go school? I mean, no, but this is little. Let's see how we can call people, okay, so that it will not be useless tomorrow. These are the things we're talking about. These are the things we're talking about. Do everything possible within your capacity to make it work around your vicinity. See, I learned something and I understand that we are the government of ourselves. Mm-hmm. We are in your home. You have president, you have governor, you have everything to make a job back in your home. Mm-hmm. In your environment, you have it. Let's start all these things and start managing ourselves, not by bullying one another. Any little thing, I know how to be is that what is going to make you somebody tomorrow? Capital no, or because you want to trend. Social media is there for us to make ourselves better. Social media is there for us to make our country good. All these outside countries we're talking about, they are not better than Nigeria. They are not. So what can we do to make it work? 1, 2, 3 like this, we can come up. 1, 2, 3 like this, we can come up, and tomorrow it will be better, and people will derive from it. People will enjoy it. Please, I beg you all, anything you feel you can do, don't close your voice. Shout. People that are interested, people that are humble, people that are ready to fight for this country are out there. It's just for them to see who will lead them. It's just for them to see who will say, let's do it this way, and you see that they will rise. And they will do it. They will do it. To me, tó bá jẹ́ nǹkan tí mo lè ṣe láti mú ìlú bàbá mi jẹ́ ìlú nílé ayé, I will try my best. Not because of myself, but because of my children. Kò sí ibi tí mo máa dúró sí tí máa rí ohun tó ń ṣe àgbèrò. Tó bá ti ń ṣe àgbèrò, outside the country, driver wà ńbẹ̀. Outside the country, àwọn tó máa encourage èèyàn ó wà ńbẹ̀. Tó bá ń ṣe àgbèrò, if you do it in the right sense, as far as it's earning for you, it's fine. No, and nobody could correct that. And our government will be looking at. But we can do it by ourselves and correct it and make them understand that this work you are doing, it can make you somebody tomorrow. If you do it this way, if you do it this way, if you do it this way, and you will enjoy what you are doing. I tell you, everything will come normal. Please, I'm begging you guys. I love your step, and I want to be part.
Thank you.
But with the little I have, I swear down, I want this country to be better.
Amen.
Thank you very much.
Wow. Thank you, sir. Thank you, man.
I love the energy. I love the personality. When you were speaking, it was hitting my soul. And We've been looking for you. Where were you all this while, man? We've been looking all around for you. And I thank God through my 001 here, the Global Security Cluster of the Global Cluster, retired Sir Michael Gbenga Oshin, you know, a man with a very large heart. You're going to join his revolution. I've sent you the Spark Hub. When you go there, you see the hub called Let's Talk Security by Michael Gbenga Oshin. That hub, you just need to join that hub and have your voice. And there are other hubs there for nation building. The Humanity Hub is there, you can join. The Mind Surgery Hub is there, you can join. The Accurate Knowledge and Information Hub is there, you can join. You can join. And I want to give the button to Dr. Sheyi Makinde right now. That is the 001 ARE cluster. He's going to talk to us about security and finance right now. And he's
Yeah, thank you very much. I think Ambassador Dr. Adekunle Badmus' network really went off. Yeah. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from everywhere you are listening to me from. Thank you very much for always bringing us together every Saturday like this. It's a very, very great pleasure to be here again. Thank you for all you're doing for humanity, Sir Colonel Gbenga Oshin. You are a very, very great man with a good heart, and you are not only thinking about yourself, you are thinking about how to give back to humanity. Thank you for all you're doing for humanity. And I really commend the presence of the global president, Ambassador Dr. Adekunle Badmus, the man with the heart of gold, and he wants to share the gold to everybody on the planet. It's a very good work, and I know the work is not really easy like that. Bringing together the good, the bad, the ugly, and making sure that every situation is turned around in the favor of the citizen of the great country, Nigeria. And I really want to also commend the last speaker, MC Mama T. I want to really commend your audacity, how you are, you are really contributing your part to making the world better. More grips to your elbow. And keep it up. We will certainly see the Nigeria of our dream one day.
Amen.
Talking about security, insecurity is backwardness. Insecurity is backwardness, a big, big backwardness. Because when something is insecure, anything can happen to it. Anything can happen. It can be scattered, it can be destroyed, it can be taken advantage of because it is not secure, And the level of when we talk of security, personally, more of the things I talk about is food security and financial security. And no matter what we want to do, if there is no food security, which is the basic need of man, at the end of the day, there is nothing you can discuss with anybody will ever listen to you. And one of the things we are doing on the global clusters, ARE clusters of the global clusters, is we want to ensure food security. We want to end hunger. If you look at it very well, you discover that food price will take, if you ask a salary earner will tell you that food price takes up to 60, 70, 80% of their salary. And if you look at the price of food is one of those prices that can always exceed inflation. It rises with inflation. And that is the reason we came up with that concept to make sure we end hunger. And one of the things that causes the rising in the prices of goods, of food or food crops, there are three things that always make it, to rise. Number one is that insecurity makes it rise. By the time people don't feel secure farming in where they are farming, they abandon their farms, they run away. And I think in this regards, we're going to seriously work with all our ARE centers to work with Sir Colonel Gbenga Oshin. We're going to really, really sit on the round table to see how we can secure, all the funds. And I want us, Colonel, I want us to do a kind of, let me say, a kind of summit that will provide private suggestion to the government on the matter of insecurity and insurgents in Nigeria.
That sounds interesting.
Do you know that the economic summit that was done this last week shows that the prices of food that rose, that increased incessantly last year to this year was caused as a result of, kidnapping, insurgents, and people said they don't have money to pay ransom. Which is a fact. So a lot of people abandoned their farms. So people were done. And when large number of people are competing for the limited food that are produced, then it becomes the survival of the fittest.
Yeah.
It becomes the survival of the fittest. Can we come up and think of how we can do a kind of security summit, on the platform of the global clusters? Let's raise the hashtag end insurgents, end kidnapping, end paying of ransom. Let us talk to the government so that the government will intentionally end that, even if there is a political tone behind this. Certainly when the voice that we have we cannot lend that voice to the voiceless and speak out, then evil will prevail in the land. So therefore, I think if you need to, Colonel, we need to begin to look at how to do a security summit that will come up with practical approach of ending insecurity in villages, remote area, farms. Can we set up a body that can give all these people that kind of protection that will aid food security in Nigeria? Do you know Nigeria has 35 million arable land? Netherlands has 2 million acres of arable land. Nigeria has 35 to 37 million acres of arable lands. But Netherlands is doing better. No food shortage, no food scarcity. How did they do it? It's because they maximized what they had. But out of our 35 to 37 million acres of land, now let us be sincere to ourselves. How many acres are cultivated? How many acres have been abandoned based on insurgencies?
Yeah, very true.
Now, if we look at this very well, we discovered on the global clusters we can come up with in the area of the security to lend our voice to the voices to this. We can talk to the government, create a suggestion, then we now talk to the government to engage in public-private partnership. And by the time we do this, you will discover that even those people that does all this kidnapping, insurgencies as a business or as a political, for a political reasons, will spoil their business. And by the time we spoil their business, the government too will come up with a willingness to foil all those gang-ups. And that's it. Then from there, we tell people, if you are a criminal, that energy you are using to do criminality, come and use it on the farm.
Yep, totally.
And that is it. Nigeria is filled with opportunity that you are educated or you are not educated. It's filled with opportunities. You will see some young guys in the rural area, they have like 5 wives. And they are taking care of them conveniently with their children. Why? What were they doing? They are engaging in agriculture. They are doing agriculture. They build their house. They are using the cars they can use. They have, you see them, their wives are looking fine. Their children are looking fine. So therefore, we need to begin to talk about food security and what are the things that can promote food security in Nigeria. And let me tell you, another area that any forward-thinking Nigeria can begin to talk of, food security in Nigeria is to get involved in agriculture. Let's all get involved in agriculture. And on the global clusters, we've been able to take the bull by the horn. We took the bull by the horn. What did we do? We got 411 acres of arable lands. We want to do group farming, clusters farming. We want to create agric clusters business area where you come together, we come together, we pull resources together, we do farming, we provide food for our nation, food security. And at the same time, as we are doing that, we are doing like other 3 things. First of all, we are increasing the GDP of our country. We're increasing the GDP of our country. Number 2, you are creating wealth for yourself. You are creating wealth. One of the ways to create transgenerational wealth is through agriculture. Because the land you buy, the crop you plant, they are assets. They are great assets. Then number 3 is that you are creating employment. Those guys that are supposed to be on the streets and they are hungry because they have nothing to do, you are creating employment for them. Thereby, you are creating security. An idle hand is the devil's workshop. That's one of the advocacy we have been talking to the government about, that the government should get involved in an ARE concept, so that we are talking to Lagos State government to help them to absorb those youths that can work on the farm. And we'll train them in our farm. These days, you know what we are trying to create? We are creating one-stop big hub for vegetable farm that can be exported. Vegetable farms that people will work, they will earn salary, people will work, they will do this. A lot of things we are creating. We are creating tourism in that area. We are creating agro-processing plants in that area. We are going to create rice processing center. We're going to create cassava processing center. In fact, we have a local government that is talking to us at this moment, and that local government is telling us to come around and come and cultivate their 1,500 acres of land.
Wow.
Imagine. They said engage the youths in our area.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time you engage them, they won't be idle again. They won't be vulnerable to be lured into other social vices.
Yeah, definitely.
And also, we're going to really, work. And, behind camera, I would also discuss with Colonel about poker cough. That's police campaign against cultism and other vices.
Okay.
So we, as the 001 security cluster of the global clusters, we'll be able to, through the CTO, we'll be able to write a letter to bring this into the poker cough.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, we'll be able to also liaise with other security platforms.
I actually think that poker cough.
We can learn. You see what?
That poker cough is actually a very good initiative.
That's police campaign against.
I think it's a fantastic. Yes, I think it's a fantastic initiative. And I think with the right directive, we can actually get a lot of interest from all the right areas. And I think one of the areas that you need to focus that on would be the higher institutions in Nigeria. Would be a fantastic place to start where that is concerned.
Yes, we can do that.
Mm-hmm.
So all these things are major concerns, and I believe we will certainly get there. The global clusters has come to stay, and it has come to stay. And we're going to try and do our best to just make sure that we sensitize our people. But it's so pathetic. The funniest thing is that in the Nigerian curriculum, in the education sector, recently the Minister of the Federal Ministry of Education scrapped off security as a subject from the junior school.
Really?
They scrapped off security as a subject. It's so alarming.
Very. Why do they not think that? Do they not think that kids need to know about security, or that kids need security?
Yes, it was scrapped off. I don't think the person that brought that suggestion and pushed it forward for approval knows what he or she is really doing.
No, I don't think they do.
So all these things are a major concern. And, I encourage everybody, let's get involved in agriculture through the ARE. You can, wherever you are in the diaspora, you are in UK, US, you're in North America, in Europe, in Asia, in African country, in Nigeria, let us join hands together. You don't need to get involved. We have people that are doing the cultivation. We have 400 acres of land with genuine documentation with the government. We have export potential on that investment. We have, real estate, land banking potential. We have tourism potential. Your land appreciates. You make money. You don't just buy the land, pay the farm management, and your farm will be properly handled for you.
Mm-hmm.
You need to have a piece of that farm. You need to have a piece of that farm. You need to just have a piece of that farm. And when you have a piece of that farm, you are creating employment, you are creating wealth for yourself, you are creating transgenerational wealth, you are creating food security, and at the same time, you are helping the GDP of Nigeria. And through exports, you are also helping the Naira to stabilize. You are contributing to your father's land. And that is it. You discover that all these things will help us. By the time we come in, imagine cultivating 400 acres of land. Look at what is going to add up to Nigerian GDP. Look at the employment it's going to create. Look at the wealth it's going to create. It's going to really create financial security.
Mm-hmm.
And that is it. It's going to create job security. Imagine a day you wake up and you just get an income from your farm. It's a passive source of income. It's passive. It's repeated. You need to have a repeated source of income. The way I build my income, I build it in a way that I have repeated sources of income. Everything I do, I try to build a repeated source. It's on a repeated mode that I'm sure every month, every 3 months, every 6 months, every 1 year, there's no way you can be stranded with that. So those are the things I do in my finance, and that is called financial security. But let's build financial security together. Let's build food security. Thank you very much for the opportunity, Sir Colonel Gbenga Oshin. I'm always proud of you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. I can't take all the credit because I'm here thanks to the hard work and the roots that were laid, the foundation that was laid by persons like Dr. Sheyi Makinde, like His Excellency Dr. Adekunle Badmus, and the rest of the team. I was going through my photographs on my phone the other day, and I came across the very first photograph that we took when I came to Nigeria. It was myself, Dr. Sheyi, and Dr. Badmus, all in one room, just after he had officially appointed me as the 001 for global for the global security clusters of the global cluster. And at that time, the global clusters was still on paper. It wasn't actually a reality. It wasn't actually an entity or the entity that it is now. I'd like to thank His Excellency Dr. Sheyi Makinde, who took time out to come and speak to us about financial security. And as a lot of people know, financial security is just as important as every other aspect of security. And if you were following him as he spoke, you can see the initiatives that are coming to light, as in, the things that we are trying to do, the steps that we are trying to take in order to make Africa and Nigeria great again, which is our aim always. It is the mantra that we came up with, and the mantra that we are working towards. Persons like His Excellency Dr. Badmus, who never sleeps, is always out and about, and who is an inspiration to all of us, because the dream is real, and we will continue to take those steps to enable this dream to become a reality and make Africa and Nigeria great again. We are, as I have it on good authority, we've been in conversation with many persons out there of great standing. We have interviews booked, we have meetings booked, because we do not sleep. We do not sleep. The president himself, he's always out and about. He's always having meetings with people. I'm pretty sure that if we give him the opportunity now, he will escape into another meeting where he's expected. I don't know anybody whose Saturdays are more occupied than mine, but I think I've met my match now in himself. I'd like to thank the whole team that help us to put this together every Saturday. I know it's not easy because everybody has their lives and how they run around. There's people behind the scenes. We have Grace to Grace Properties, who is always there moderating. We have MC Mama T, who I connected with during the week, on various things. Kyle Diadalegbe, who is here, but I think he's probably at work and he's busy, hence the reason why we couldn't hear from him today. I'd like to thank Tennyson, who is our computer guru, our IT master, who helps me with the StreamYard, getting me onto all these different platforms. I did see Master Genie earlier, and I don't know if he's still around. He's also another person who I love to hear from on a Saturday, because a lot of these topics that we talk about, especially where security is concerned, I always encourage people to take it serious. Coyote, is that you?
Yeah, thank you. Good morning, sir. It's been a long time.
It has.
One thing I try to do is to learn today. I'm not always available on Saturday. I'm very sorry.
That's all right.
It's been a while. And excellent morning to my global president, Dr. Makinde. Good morning. Good afternoon now. I'm sorry. That's my bad. Good afternoon. And MC Mama, good afternoon, ma. And I want to say good afternoon to everyone on the AYP. I love the submission of Dr. Sheyi Makinde, and I can see that you just picked it up from where global president hung it out. The real thing in our country today is the fact that our country is one of the best you can still get all over the world. Nigeria is the best you can still get all over the world. Forget about the propaganda, forget about the demarketing, forget about whatever is going on the social media. A guy who is a lazy, lousy fellow will come and do every sort of nonsense to just make his own voice heard. We know we have some little, we have our differences, we have our districts, but notwithstanding, today, Nigeria is one of the best countries. All we just need to do is to come together and make it work. And the insurgency we're shouting about in our country, I don't think the insurgency in our country is something that is visible, that cannot be curbed. It will come together. I tell people, sir, one of the machinery and the tools of the politician is the media. And the power of the media have been broken down since the emergence of social media. You have a voice, I have a voice. It depends on how we are channeling our voice. And believe me, if that little lady from Ikorodu axis of Lagos State can come up on social media and just make one post or the other, and the whole world channel their attention to it, that shows that if we decided to make our own voice heard, everybody on the planet Earth will listen to us. They will listen to us. So I say, many people that are on social media concerned that we are not channeling our voice in the right path. Now, Dr. Makinde will come up on a daily basis posting the 001 food security estate and all that. I saw those, but that's a very great work. Thank you for not on those things. I so much admire you for that. Thank you. It's not easy to come on the daily basis. Thank you much. Our greedy.
I think he's probably in a very bad reception area. Oh, that's a shame, and I was actually enjoying that. Well, I think some of us do get the gist of what he was trying to say, and I'm hoping that he's going to come back, because I was actually really enjoying what he had to say there. We were. Yes, I think he's back. Yes. Yes.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm very sorry for that.
It's okay.
It's the connection, I think.
It's okay.
Yeah. So what I said is, our land in Nigeria is lately discovered that our land in Nigeria is washed with mineral resources, and those people that have the firepower understood that if we can just chase the villagers away, we can be able to grab as much as we can take. And that is the basis of insurgency in Nigeria. Believe me, sir, or not, that is one of the prominent axes to which these militia activities are taking up. There are serious guys from maybe being retired from military, maybe politicians who have the firepower to sponsor all those nonsense. They are the people behind the scenes of this insurgency. We should not tell ourselves lies that everybody knows. That's the truth about the matter. And it is just as simple as if we can shout it out, create a voice that can be heard, let people know that these people that are not invisible, have the money, a criminal, somebody who is a tout, a caturiera, they don't have the money to buy a copter. They don't have the money to buy jets. They don't have it. And people will be using jets to go and chase villagers out. And you are telling me that these are caturiera. They're not caturieras. So, Dr. Makinde, these are the areas we need to channel our voice. We need to make our voice known and let the criminals, let them know that we knew already that these are the people that are tormenting our nation, that are tormenting our communities. And each state governor should be able to rise up to protect their people, to protect their citizens, to protect their villages. A country, a nation like, a state like Kwara can afford to have their own security plant. They have the money. They have the money to create something that can monitor their farms. So all these people, if we can tell them that, okay, look at the situations of things, how can we come in? How can we invest on it? And these people has good arable land. Their land are useful for good things. So those are the areas we're going to be looking at. And I love the way our global president, His Excellency Dr. Badmos and Dr. Sheyi, the way they are channeling this thing, I'm one of the admirers of these things you are doing, and I believe that together our nation will be great again.
Amen.
Together our nation will be great again. With Sir Dr. Makinde, the truth of the matter is that you have many followers unknown to you, and I would like you to know that people are looking at you as a role model. Dr. Gbenga, sir, we in UK here, we are looking at you as a father and as a mentor. By the grace of God, I'm looking forward to receive my certificate of discharge from the Nigerian Police Force.
Okay.
I don't know, maybe they are going to, but I hopefully that they are going to discharge me with the rank of assistant superintendent. Good and fine, but I'm looking at it that, okay, very soon I got it. So we can come up with something. I'm still looking at how can I be, I'm following Mr. Gbenga Oshin by the grace of God. So no problem. I'm looking at it. We'll talk later by the grace of God.
Amen.
Though I get busy, hustle and bustling in UK, but notwithstanding, one of these days I will come out you to visit personally by the grace of God.
Amen.
So I believe insecurity in Nigeria is not invisible. It's not as invisible as people talk about it. And our social media space should be regulated. It's not everything that come up on the social media that will be able to pass across outside the shore of Nigeria.
Mm-hmm.
There must be mitigation to how far some certain news can be eradicated. Other countries that are even worse than Nigeria, they have this thing, and getting across to other news. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think I need to thank you, sir. Dr. Makinde, thank you. Mami MC, Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you
I'm
so.
grateful, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. I mean, that was really insightful. That was fantastic. It was amazing. What I was going to say was, whereabouts are you in Nigeria?
Sir?
Whereabouts are you in Nigeria? Where are
On my
you?
side?
Yeah, where are you in Nigeria?
I'm from Ekiti State.
Right. Where do you, like, with regards to you being a policeman? Whereabouts are you? What division?
Yeah, I work in Lagos.
Okay.
I work in Lagos. I work as an investigator in Lagos, and I work as an anti-crime officer in Lagos. I had anti-crime robbery department of area command for 7.5 years.
Okay.
Before I moved to police college to go and teach, to go and lecture music and crime study in police college Ikeja for another 9 years of my life. Yeah.
Okay. Because obviously it's no secret that I'm looking to come home hopefully early next year or towards the end of this year. And persons like yourself, I would like to meet up with so that we can put heads together and start coming up with programs and concepts on how we can best improve the service that is meted out by the Nigerian police force. The fact that you're about to retire from the police service doesn't mean that you're no longer a policeman. It just means that you're moving into a different sphere in your life. And persons like yourself, with what you have and what you've done, you can bring your experience to the table and be a voice for the voiceless. It's well documented that I've said many, many times over and over that when I see the way police practice in Nigeria, especially, like when I go to Nigeria, when I visit, the things that I see that I don't particularly like, the things that I see that I don't particularly think are right, that are practiced by ladies and gentlemen in uniform. But then I'm always told that, well, this is how it's done here and there's nothing that people can do about it. Personally, I don't agree with that. I don't think it's true. I don't think it's right. But I do believe that if there are men and women like yourself who, after serving so many years and giving so much of yourself to your profession, are willing to come together and sit around a table and formulate courses and lectures for security companies and for the police force and for the NSCDC, we can create or begin to create a better security environment for the nation. Police officers are supposed to be persons that people feel confident enough to approach in the time of trouble and strife, not people that people are scared to talk to just in case they get accused of committing a crime. And as we all know, the way I was brought up is you're brought up to believe that you are always innocent until proven guilty. And also, when we let common sense rule, a person who commits a crime is very, very unlikely to run into a police station and report something that has gone wrong. A person who takes somebody's life, for instance, will not stay with the person until the police get there. So we need to start putting these things into perspective, and also, we need to come up with courses whereby we educate men in uniform, men and women of the in uniform on the proper practices with regards to not just law and order, but also towards human rights. Many a time I've noticed in countries like Nigeria, where people's human rights are being violated, and it's being done because obviously a lot of people are none the wiser. They don't know their rights. They don't know their rights under the law. They don't know their rights under human rights law. And human rights law is not something that only happens in other countries. Human rights law is for human beings. And as far as I remember, in Nigeria, every one of us that lives there, every one of us that walks the earth, there is a human being. And as such, I think in Nigeria especially, we're at a time now where I believe that the government needs to separate the wheat from the chaff. You've got very, very good men and women in the Nigerian police force who want to do a genuine job. But then you've got the deadwood, who are the people that seem to be getting all the promotions and all the big ranks and the positions and the statuses within the Nigerian police force, who are not doing the right thing. And they're tarnishing the good name of the men and women of the Nigerian police force. So if you are interested, let's keep this line of communication open, and let's see if we can come up with a course that we can roll out up to and including university level for persons who are interested in doing proper police work, to the point where crimes will be solved a lot quicker and people's confidence in the police service will escalate. What do you think?
That's very great. That's going to be a great one by the grace of God. And one thing I know is that every aspect of our countries, of our nations, parastatals, in most cases, are highly misrepresented out there. The police, as far as I know, the police, we have bad people, but we have a lot of good people. And they are heroes, which their names and their good work are unsung.
That's very
nobody
true.
Hear about them. Nobody. And I can tell you for a fact that as I had anti-robbery in different capacity for about 10 and plus years, even as a young man, and I can tell you for free, or me, which I know that till tomorrow morning. Till tomorrow, I don't know. Till tomorrow, I don't know anyone who can say that I'm owing him a dime. That this guy been maybe converted their property, their land, cars, money to his own. No normal team member would do that. And I still, so as I'm talking to you now, it's possible that some of the people we work together will be listening to what I'm saying. And I'm a social media person. I'm a musician. My page is there, all out there, and I'm verifiable. Some of my colleagues call me every day. Every day. In fact, they call me every day. So whatever I'm saying now is verifiable.
Sure.
But the truth is, what is called news is bad. So people will always look for the each side of stories to tell.
Yeah.
And they will bury the good side of the story. And I tell people, the way the police force in a country portray themselves is just as a reflection of the kind of citizens we have in a country.
Yes.
That's the truth.
Definitely.
That's the truth. So and I don't know where this belief system came from, that this belief system of don't work, you are going to wake up one morning and become a billionaire. You can control people when you have your money. You can commit crime and go scot-free. And this system has been on for the past 20 years. And this is the result we are fighting now. We should pretend about it. And those who portray those things, they have the foresight to take over the political positions in the nearest future, which already they are occupying now, I know, because it was a project to them and they really worked at it and they really make up that propaganda, everything. They do everything to make sure that they get to where they were. And they really hard work, They really worked hard on it. And people, the good people that are supposed to curb these SSEs, when it was in his infancy position, they kept quiet. They want to be politically correct, and that kind of correctness has cost our nation so many things. I believe that our police force just need a little touch. Just a little touch. And if that little touch can be given to Nigerian police force, I believe you get the best. You get the best. You get the best. You get the best.
Well, I have a question. Now, my question is this. Now, that last point you made is a very valid point. You just need a touch. But how, if you have an apple,
yeah,
and as you're looking at that apple, on one side you see a blemish, a little dark blemish, right? But you don't know how deep in that blemish goes, right? Now, where the Nigerian police force is concerned, right? How deep is the rot? Do you understand? Because like now, an example for me would be, now I'm driving through Lagos and there's traffic, but you've got like 6 police officers standing in the middle of the road in their little cubicle having a chat. And one of them's on his phone, the other one's eating groundnuts, while the other one's talking to a lady that's passing by in a car. Now that is definitely not policing, because we have traffic and they should be seeing to the traffic and make sure that everybody gets through safely and securely.
And that's one of the easiest things you can easily copy in Nigerian police. Everybody knew in Nigerian police, as far as our uniform is concerned, that discipline is the core of our environment.
Oh, definitely.
On such a note, we just need a good patriotic Nigeria to put a call through to their leader. Each of the police, each of the police areas, the command, they had their command, they had a division. Why they were being, segregated into those little units is for proper monitoring and for accountability.
Sure.
So in that area, all you need to do is to check which division of the police is this. And immediately you understand that, okay, this is Oworoshoki. Let's take Lagos for instance. So this is Oworoshoki. Okay, Oworoshoki asks how many division? This very place, which police station is here? You just get to that Oworoshoki police station. Okay, Oworoshoki police station. Who is the DPO? If you put it on internet, immediately the number of their DPO, the current sitting DPO, will pop up on your phone. Pick it up, give the man a call. These are the art of patriotism that our people cannot do. They can't afford. They can use that airtime to make video and post it on internet, but they cannot channel that effort to just make to correct that error. Immediately you call their DPO. Hello, sir. I am so and so. My name is Kayode Adalebe. I'm at so point now. I met your policemen. There's a serious traffic here. All of them, one is eating groundnut, another is chatting on his phone, one is report their conduct. And as we are reporting their conduct, equally allow the boss to know that you just thought it fit that this can be corrected by him, otherwise he has other higher authority who can equally question it.
Sure.
So immediately you allow him to know that this case can also be channeled to the higher authority. He himself is afraid because he wants to protect his image.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
And before you know what is happening, if not immediately, you will see the change. You will, in fact, I can tell you that there will be an instant reaction. If you can take your time to just stay and see what is going on in that place, you will discover that the DPO by himself or another delegated power will be sent to that place to go and correct that error. But one of the misinformations that is going on in our land is that some other people will see that the next thing they do is to video it and put it on internet, with intent of having their followers or internet traffic. They are not helping that issue.
No.
They are not resolving that conflict that is about to happen. They are using that one as to, they are just being self-centered. It's not as if they want to resolve the issue. So these are the areas we can just look into. When I traveled back to Nigeria the other day, I met some of my colleagues. They are my colleagues, right? But they didn't know me. They didn't know me at all. So I was just there in the car, and one of them was saying something. I was like, wow. I was like, wow. But when I asked the guy one question, immediately the guy replied. He said, "I'm sorry, sir. I didn't know you were here."
Wow.
The guy did not even bother to ask for my name. He didn't even bother to ask for my identity. Just because of the question I asked him, everybody left the scene. So those are the things. It is not what we call patriotism goes beyond putting things on internet. It goes beyond that. We can be able to influence our immediate environment with little information and correct the error immediately and stand by it. And when somebody knows that another hand is here to correct the error, sir, I tell you the change is here. It's not far away. That's just the truth. That's just the truth. That's just the truth. Thank you, sir.
No, thank you. Thank you very much. That's been, it's very, very, very invaluable.
It's been a while. It's been a minute. I hope you're connected to Sir Michael Gbenga Oshin. You both are in the UK, Do you know Kyle is in the UK?
Yes.
You guys need to actually connect with one another. He's a great guy, and thank you very much. It's a no-brainer. It's a real deal, and everything we're putting together is to ensure that everyone have their own quota, be it what it is. For instance, the Part B of the certificate, we're advocating for our mother's tongue to be language of instructions. Yoruba, Igbo, and Hausa, at least to start with. You understand, and there are some lot of misconceptions, that has actually happened that we all need to do something about it. Looking at a woman selling in a cold water, and the woman can actually knows where to buy from and where to sell to, and you tell me that person is not educated because he cannot speak Queen's English, like my and global security clusters, like the way Mommy Ja will speak, like the way my PA we speak. You understand? Like the way I will speak. You cannot tell me that person is not educated.
That's right.
Education is now gone beyond that, and that is why we're here. We want to appreciate everyone. I believe we should draw the curtain right now.
Yep.
And we want to draw the curtain here, and I want to appreciate MC Mama T. I appreciate you so much. I appreciate you, Pastor Kari Adarabiki. Let us all go into the spark up. We can equally lend our voice. We can own our own hubs too, and be part of so many hubs. That makes sense. And the Global Cluster Spark Hub is a place to give everyone sense of belonging. If you have any young people disturbing you and say, I need job, I need this, I can tell you, we can give them something to do. They are really, really ready to work. You understand? There is a lot of work to be done. We need people to head the clusters in each local government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and in each country of the continent of Africa and all over the world. We need people to champion this movement, you understand, in such a way that we can actually bring everyone together. And we equally need people to volunteer into most of the revolution that we have. The NYC, the National Youth Corps,
Service Corps has actually adopted the concept, and we're having several meetings. We are on implementation plan right now, and we went to meet with IBB. Our former president said yes to us. President Olusegun Obasanjo said yes to us, and we currently need everyone to start putting people together digitally, and we can all be meeting and be having this great discussion. We are trying to solve a poverty problem, unemployment problem. We're trying to solve light problem. We brought remedy aid from the United States of America. We are currently solving energy problem now with the still water to energy, and which is a great opportunity. We're trying to solve unemployment problem with the certificate revolution and with the survival strategies in the new normal. You understand? Giving them techniques that they can use to survive, connecting them to the right companies that they can actually use to survive. We are the global clusters. We are great clusterians and we're great spark overs. And this is our identity. We are here. We're not politicians. We are not religious people, but we stand for purpose. And what is the purpose of our existence? And we help people to discover themselves, and we help people to make sure that they move from where they are to where they ought to be. And that is who we are. So we'll be joining the country today, and we'll be ending the show right now. And we want you to stay tuned. Go to the Spark Up, sign up. There is one that will be coming up, a meeting that will be coming up in the evening. And if you want to rewatch everything that has happened, if you go to the Let's Talk About Security Spark Up, you'll be able to see everything. Once you sign up, just go to the message. There's a group chat like WhatsApp that you can go to. You will see a link that is dropped, and you can watch on that platform live everything we have discussed today. You can actually watch on the Spark Up, and you can join the accurate knowledge and information revolution. And this Let's Talk Security needs volunteers. You understand? You can DM the Colonel Michael Gbenga Oshin as a volunteer. You understand? To work with him. He wants to start doing virtual trainings and all of that, and to educate people more and start organizing the police. We have some ACPs that he needs people to just at least in Nigeria to go as a go-between and make sure that everything is making sense. Letters coming from the global security cluster of the global clusters to them and all of that. So we need volunteers. And for this great revolution clusters. So having said that, we're joining the country now. We are asking, who are we? We are a consortium of professionals or aspiring professionals, technocrats or aspiring technocrats, entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs, where we share accurate knowledge of our industry. Why? Because it gives us the right power, accurate information, because that is the bridge between where we are and where we ought to be. Accurate connection, because to whom we are connected to determines what we collect. We are not just a social media platform with a marketplace with the best monetization on earth. We are the first nation-building social media platform on earth. And to join us, it's free. You can join the Global Cluster Spark Up and become a Spark Over for free. You can just go to www.thesparkhubs.org. You can chat, you can make voice call, you can make video call, you can send a connection request to someone, you can accept, you can give a follow, somebody can follow you back. You can create your own hub. You can give your own message. We don't accept nudity. We don't accept foul languages. It's not a place to call people out. This is not a social media to call people out, to abuse people. This is not a social media to say any form of vocal words. This is not a social media to show your private parts. You understand? This is a social media for nation building that promote morals, that advance humanity forward. So that is what it is. And it's free to everyone. Spark Up is spelled THESPARKHUBS.org for free. You can join, connect with me. You will see me. This is my Spark Up profile that I'm putting on here. You will see me with this cap. This is on the Spark Up. You understand? You can see that I have some followers. And we're currently testing in the last 2 weeks, and it will soon be on Play Store and it will soon be on Apple Store. You understand? You can explore it. It's a bit different as a marketplace. That for those that want to become a premium member pay a token of 61,000, and this immediately you do that as a premium member, you get a course that is more than 700,000 naira, and that is a UK diploma course from London Career Institute on data analysis, cybersecurity, certified nursing assistant, mini MBA, business analysis, AI courses. Get that for free. You understand? With just 61,000 naira, and you get instantly monetized. You go into the monetization and you start earning every day. Whether you have a follower or not, we have a way of putting you through on how to earn from the global clusters worldwide. And that means you are upgrading from a spark over to a clusterian. And you understand? And you can just jump into it. But for those that want to sell as a vendor, you have a business you want to sell in the community, you just need to do 81,000 naira one-time lifetime. And you enjoy those courses too. And people will be promoting, live human being, they'll be promoting your product for you, in the global clusters community. And Posterians and Spark Overs will be complete. And any Spark Over that has 3,000 followers and 3,000 connections will be upgraded to become a Posterians, and they'll be monetized. So you don't need to have any money. And if anyone needs any job, you need a job, you need the Spark Up app as a LinkedIn too. Once you sign up, you can go and update your details. You put your work experience, you put your skills, you put a bio about you, and people can equally check your Spark Up handle, just like they check your LinkedIn handle, and they can easily connect with you by writing you. And once they write to you, you get it in your email address. Having said that, we want more volunteers to join this great intellectual movement. This evening by 5 p.m., we'll be gathering again on accurate knowledge and information revolution of the global clusters. Till then, I want to say you go sign up. You can have your family Spark Up in the Spark Up too. Your wife, your husband, your children. You guys can be talking and you can be sharing stuff, just like you have a WhatsApp group. Families have WhatsApp group now and all of that. Everything you can do on WhatsApp, everything you can do on Facebook, everything you can do on X, TikTok, and everything you can do it on the Spark Up. But this one is tailored towards KIC, accurate and quality knowledge, accurate and quality information, and accurate and quality connections for nation building. So this is the first nation building social media on earth, and it's proudly Nigeria, proudly Africa, the global president of the global clusters worldwide. So till then, let me hand over the baton for a close remark to our host today. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency, Dr. Kulibadmus, Global President Worldwide. Thank you to Mama T. Thank you, Kayode Adalegbe, for your fantastic submission today. It's been a long time in coming, and I am definitely looking forward to working with you. I have actually DM'd you my phone number, whereby you can contact me and we can talk. To everyone else who has been on today, either on the StreamYard or on TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, wherever, I thank you very much for continuously supporting me on this quest, and it can only get better. I remain my humble self, Michael Gbenga Oshin, the 001 Global Security Clusters of the Global Cluster, CEO of Clear Cross Group, soon to be Clear Cross Group Global, because we are coming to Nigeria and we are coming to set up and do big things. I have Kayode Adalegbe here, who is a police officer. I have a good stream of ACPs who are ready to work with us. We have a good stream of controllers from the NSCDC. And as the global president said, we have the ears of the former presidents of Nigeria who are very much on board and want to listen to what we have. And I am actually hoping and praying that my entrance to Nigeria again, when I went the last time, it brought me the 001 global security of the global clusters. I'm hoping that my next entry to Nigeria sparks off our first ever federal government approved security and police training course in Nigeria, whereby we start to make Africa and Nigeria great again by bringing in a new game, and that new game is called change. And what are we changing? We're changing people's views and people's practices, and we're trying to instill the fact that you can trust us as police officers, you can trust us as security personnel, you can trust us as civil defense officers, you can trust us no matter what uniform we wear, and you can walk the streets of Nigeria, walk the streets of Africa, and feel safe and secure in your own skin. Once again, thank you once again. And as you know, 9:30 every Saturday morning, this is where we are. This is where you'll find us. Myself, Dr. Badness, Grace to Grace, Mama T, Sky all over the world, Mama Jer, all of us are here on a Saturday morning doing what we do and trying to make Africa and Nigeria great again. So in the meantime, have a fantastic Saturday. Stay safe, be good, and God bless you all. Don't forget, we have mind surgery again this evening at 5. Please be there. You'll be blessed with the mindsets and the experience and the words of all these great people that come on board to speak to us. Thank you once again, and have a fantastic weekend. That's me out.
All right, bye.